Hey gang, Ronan here. As you can see, in this game I'm playing the Tier 10 US Destroyer Gearing. I'm top tier in this game, which is always nice. There's no CV. There are some DD threats. Summers has some pretty nice guns. Gutland, of course, has the super fast torpedoes. Z23 has hydro, and then there is the U2501, which can outspot me by a significant margin. I'm always happy when I'm playing a destroyer and there's no CV. So that's huge. There is some radar to contend with. Moskva and Stalingrad both have long-range radar. Doesn't last for very long, but it's there. I've spawned south of the Delta Cap, so that's where I'm going to head. Looks like Megami's going to be with me. I'm hoping Brandenburg. You just never know. And there's also a key down there. And it looks like the GJ Mark is headed this way as well. If you're not familiar, Summers, the guns, I think they have a little slower reload than Gearing, but you've got decent guns on Summers. Good detection. Gutland, of course, the torpedoes reload quickly and they move really fast. I think on my Holland, the torpedoes move about 90. I think they're 80 or 85 knots on Gutland. It's very fun to play, but no smoke. Now, I don't want them to know that I'm here yet. I mean, I'm radio located, so they know the nearest ship. Whoever has that commander skill knows that the nearest ship is in the direction that I am. But as long as I keep moving, if they've thrown torpedoes, they will probably miss. Now, I'm realizing just now I'm in radar range of the Moskva. I don't want to get radared here, but I'm going to pencil up and challenge for the cap. If nothing else, if Moskva does use the radar, it'll be hard for anybody to land a lot of shells on me, and I think I could survive it. Now, I'm a little disappointed because you can see the Brandenburg and the key. They're going to run through the middle. It's obvious that that's what they're doing. And that's just bad play. I mean, I know that and Harmagami gets absolutely wrecked sailing broadside to the Moskva in what looks to be about 5 or 6 kilometers. He was probably thinking, oh, I'll get my torpedoes away in his third game in the ship. You just never know, but that's my guess. And I'm just going to get the heck out of here. So anyway, so these guys in the key and the Brandenburg, they're going to run through the center. And the Stalingrad on the other team, I had a game with that same player earlier in that same day, and he was talking about, he was a pro player and they just don't get any better. He was quite proud of himself, and I'm not alone in this. I and several others on the team. So I would just check the stats. The guy had like 6,500 games in Tier 1 ships, so of course he has a decent win rate. So you can see him and our Brandenburg and Key facing off. Everybody, I'll call them Flambus wannabes. Now, I'm a big fan of Flambus. He's a fantastic player, has great tactical awareness, really no matter what game he's playing. And I think some of his two brothers' mid-runs have emboldened some, let's just say, not as good players to try to do the same thing, and generally with hilarious failure results. I do manage to land a torpedo on the nose of the Yamato, which is almost a guaranteed flood, and in this case it does flood. He repairs it. If I'm able to get another torpedo on him anytime in the near future, I also land a torpedo on something behind him. If I can get another torpedo on him, he'll flood for quite a while. And he may turn more center, so I'm going to throw him that way. Yeah, so our Brandenburg, he's about to die. And as is often the case with far too many key players, my division mate guy, he's sunk, so I'll just go ahead and end my ship as well, so we can move on to the next game together. But they do manage to take out Stalingrad. Then we lose our GJ marker, and I am literally alone on this half of the map now. Our U-2501 is in the middle, and I'm dealing with the Yamato, Bismarck, Moskva, and Summers. That is not pretty. Our Benham is headed back this way, which I am very, very glad to see. I haven't given up yet, but our team is down 4 ships. The bad guys are only down 1 ship, and the bad guys have a pretty commanding 300 plus point lead. We're almost 6 minutes into the game. I'm trying to stay out of radar range of the Moskva. Our de Grosse takes out the Z-23 on the far side. And I'm going to throw these torpedoes out. They might be dual-purpose torpedoes. Well, maybe even tri-purpose torpedoes. Summers looked like he was headed for the cap. Yamato looks like he's headed for the cap. Moskva definitely is headed for the cap. So I'm going to hope that I catch 1 or more people with these torpedoes. You can see I'm in radar range of the Moskva now. So I'm just running south. I'm counting on the Benham to throw torpedoes, which you can see coming. And that's going to keep the Moskva headed that way. He might turn a little bit with my torpedoes. And I do catch the Summers, thank goodness. Now the Moskva's going to turn to avoid my torpedoes, and that's going to force him to give broadside to the Summers torpedoes. So I land 2 on Moskva. I'm just out of radar range. But look at those torpedoes from the Benham. And blap. Blap. Down goes Moskva. Now I don't have any more radar I have to worry about over here. There's a sub pushing the Benham. Again, thank you, Capitan Bomberman. And I'm going to see what I can do with Yamato. If I can't sink him, maybe I can get him to turn around and go the other way. It looks like our guys might secure the Alpha cap. That would be a big help. We're down 240 points or so at this point. I thought about throwing torpedoes prior to this, but I want to get closer. It's hard to know what Yamato's going to do here. It looks to me like he's currently angling against the Benham. We lose our Alsace, but we did secure the Alpha cap. Right now we are down to 6 ships, and with the loss of the de Grosse, the bad guys are now down to 7 ships. I made my best guess on the torpedo launch there. Hoping that the Benham torps will keep the Yamato going in more or less the same direction he's going now. But nope, he's going to start turning, and I think my torpedoes are all going to pass to one side. I may land that one. Yep, I do land one, no flood though. 50 seconds and the torpedoes will be back up. Benham is still having to deal with the 2501, the U-2501. Now, this video was made before the changes to subs. It is still ridiculously overpowered in terms of the homing torpedoes and the detectability and such. And Benham is just trying to play smart here and not get killed. Now, I thought Benham was going to keep the Yamatos spotted, but a little bit of a break there. And I'm back in smoke cover. You can see the Yamato's got his guns pointed straight at where the Venom's at. I'm trying to start a fire here. Just waiting for the Venom torpedoes to get a little bit closer, because that's going to force Yamato to be in kind of the same line. And now I'm going to see if I can help with this darn submarine. Venom stayed close enough to keep the sub from surfacing and securing the cap. But with the Yamato getting close to the cap now as our U-2501 takes out the enemy Bismarck, we're liable to see the sub surface. He's been underwater a long time. He may be running low on battery power. My torpedoes are looking pretty decent for the Yamato there. And there's still a Bismarck back there somewhere. Not as much damage as I'd hoped, and no flood, which is really disappointing. You can see the sub, he's coming to the surface. So here's my chance, see if I can start a fire. And I'm just running straight at the sub. There's a fire. Now let's see if I can't help with the sub, who's on the surface. You can see the Yamato fired at our Venom. And I get to do the really exciting G key press. Such an amazing game mechanic. A real thrill.
Enemy submarine destroyed.
Now, we're down to 8 kilometers spotting. And I'm pretty sure we've got a Bismarck pushing us. You can see the radio location indicator where it's pointing. You can see the pie-shaped wedge on the mini-map there. So he's pinging up there thinking there's somebody's coming there, and I just say, nope, nope, nope. It's closer, and it's a little bit farther south. And he's liable to just pop up any second when he gets within 8 kilometers. I'm hoping Venom's going to stop here and then run the other way. I've got a little HP to spare. He doesn't. And you got to remember, Bismarck has a pretty long-range hydro. And Venom, I think, should be turning around right now and running, but he's coming to a stop, and that means that the Bismarck is going to hydro him. And you can see I'm doing everything I can to try and stay away from Bismarck. And you're going to see what happens here in just a second when Bismarck catches the Venom, even though the Venom's in smoke. And of course, hydro means the Bismarck sees all the torpedoes already. And he can turn and avoid all the torpedoes. And I should have thrown mine a little bit shorter than I did. Bismarck's going to be able to avoid them all. So I'm going to need to make use of this smoke. I'm going to head back that way in the hope that Bismarck's going to head for the cap. If his hydro is still active, I'll know that. Then I'll just go nose in. I've still got 19,000 HP. I've got torpedoes back up in 36 seconds, so I'm just timing my turn to coincide with when the torpedoes will be active. I want to try and throw these torpedoes basically at point blank range. I have to make sure that I can kill the Bismarck with the torpedoes. That's really the only hope, I think, for the team. We're down to 3 ships. The bad guys still have 4. I am now in hydro, and I expect the shots to start coming. So, see the secondaries are firing. I'll get the guns working, and I'm just keeping a fairly narrow profile. Torpedoes are back up now. I'll throw one set now. And one as I kind of come around the corner here. I'm just about out of HP. And that's going to do it for Bismarck. And I do manage to survive. That brings my points total, damage-wise, to 204 plus 1,000 damage with 3 ships sunk. Just about got sunk myself there, but managed to finish off the Bismarck. And I think that put us back in the game. Now I'm going to run for the Delta Cap, while Guden and our U-2501 face off with all the ships up there. Now I could have run toward Alpha, but no matter which direction I go, it's going to be a minute or two until I get there. And if they get sunk, the red team is going to be focused on capping. And that means if I've secured the Delta Cap, it can kind of counteract if we lose Alpha. And if Getland does run this way, I guess it would just have to be the hope that I can land a torpedo on it. It appears to still have a lot of HP. Our Guden finishes off the Red Harlem. And we, for the first time, now have a ship advantage. We've got 3, bad guys are down to 2. We have a roughly 100-point lead, exactly 100-point lead. The Getland has taken a little bit of damage, but not much. Our Guden burns down the Minnesota. We now have a 3 ships to 1 advantage, and I'll be able to secure this cap because I can see the Getland is nowhere near there where the Guden is. Now maybe he's telling me to go there. I don't know. But at this point, with the ship advantage that we have and the points advantage, I want to make sure I don't get sunk. So I'm actually going to stay away from Getland. You can see the blue circle that's around my ship on the mini-map. That tells you how far my torpedoes can travel. So at some point, I'll throw the torpedoes across there. But I think we've got this game in the bag. 3 minutes, 20 seconds left. Got a 200-point lead. They've only got 1 ship left. Things are looking pretty good for the good guys. Radio location tells me that right now, Getland is nowhere near me. So I'm going to swing as wide as I can here, and then I'll probably run north and kind of use the island on the north end of this cap just to make sure that I don't get spotted. Yeah, there's no way the Getland is going to get back this far. But if he decides to make a rush at RDD, I'll throw some torpedoes that might arrive about the same time he got to the cap area. And I think that's game. We're up by 260 points now. 2 minutes left in the game. I don't see any way the bad guys can come back. So, a very fun game. Did a lot of damage. Got really lucky, I think, with the Bismarck there. But, you know, that's part of what I like about playing destroyers. High risk, potentially high reward, and very satisfying when it works out. And at this point, we've got all 4 caps. We've got 3 ships. They've only got 1. And Getland is making a push into the cap, but I think this is going to be over long before my torpedoes get there. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. If you have any questions or comments, I'd love to see them below. I really appreciate the interaction, and I appreciate you taking a little time to watch this. Thanks a whole bunch, and I'll see you next time.